Hey friends, welcome to PowerCoat Music. In this presentation, we're going to go through how to manage the process of using EQ with vocals in your home studio to get the professional results you want and deserve. We're also going to go through 7 steps in this journey, so be sure to watch to the end to catch them all. But before we go any further, I want to quickly ask you to please check out my YouTube homepage to view all of my videos carefully organized by subject. Also, if you're finding you like this video, please like and subscribe. You see, it really helps out the channel a great deal and allows us to keep doing what we're doing. And now, back to the presentation. EQ, or equalization, is one of the most powerful tools in vocal mixing. It shapes the tone, removes unwanted frequencies, and ensures the voice cuts through the mix without clashing with other instruments. In a home studio environment, often lacking perfect acoustics, proper EQ becomes even more critical. Now, managing vocal EQ is not about one-size-fits-all settings. It's about knowing what to listen for and understanding how to use EQ tools effectively. These 7 steps will walk you through the process. So let's jump in. Step number 1, understanding the vocal frequency spectrum. Well, what does this mean? Well, before diving into EQ settings, it's essential to understand the key vocal frequency ranges and what they do. Now, on your screen now, we have a chart with 3 columns. The first column are all of the frequency ranges for the vocal, for your vocal track. The second column is the description of how that frequency range affects the vocal track. The third are the common actions that you can do as a user to your equalizer to manage these frequency ranges. Like, for instance, the first frequency range is 80 to 100 hertz, and the description is low end body. Well, the common action, of course, is to roll off below 80 hertz to remove rumble if you have that in your mix, and so on. Next, step 2, use high pass filtering, HPF, wisely. What does that mean? Almost every vocal track benefits from a high pass filter. This removes low-end rumble that adds mud and eats headroom. And this is how you do it. First, you want to start around 80 hertz. For male vocals, don't go too high. Try 70 to 90 hertz. For female vocals, you can push it a little more to around 100 hertz. Use your ears. The goal here is to clean, not thin out the vocal. Step 3, subtractive EQ. Clean before boosting. What does that mean? Well, subtractive EQ means cutting frequencies before boosting others. This approach avoids frequency masking, keeps your mix clean. Now, here are some common subtractive cuts. Cut 200 to 500 hertz if the vocal sounds muddy or boxy. Notch narrow peaks with a tight EQ where there's resonance or room noise. And use dynamic EQ if the issue only appears occasionally. Okay, not all the time. Now here's a tip. Use a panoramic EQ and sweep with narrow boosts, finding annoying frequencies, and then cut gently. That is anywhere from -2 to -6 decibels. Step number 4, additive EQ. Enhance what's missing. What does that mean? Well, once the vocal's cleaned up, it's time to enhance clarity and character. Now here are some common additive boosts. 3 to 5 kilohertz for presence, 8 to 12 kilohertz for air, and 120 to 150 hertz. This adds a little warmth if the vocal feels thin. But you want to be careful not to overdo it. Again, a warning, avoid excessive boosting. Use small moves from 1 to 3 decibels. That goes a long way. Step number 5, deal with sibilance. That is the S's, the S. Sibilance lives around 5 to 8 kilohertz, and it can quickly become piercing. And there are 2 ways that you can deal with it or control it. The first is EQ cut. Gently reduce harsh sibilant areas. The second is to use a de-esser plugin. This is better for targeting specific S sounds dynamically. Now here's a tip the pros usually will give you. Now, sometimes a small dip at 6.5 to 7.5 kilohertz works better than relying entirely on a de-esser. Number 6, contextual mixing, EQ in the mix. What does this mean? Well, soloing vocals while EQing is useful for precision, but always check your EQ decisions in context. This is important. Always ask yourself, does the vocal sit well within the mix? Or does the vocal sit well with the beat, I should say, and other instruments? And sometimes a cut that sounds bad soloed is perfect in the mix. Use reference tracks to compare tonal balance. Reference tracks are very important. I use them a lot. Also, use your ears, not just your eyes. Don't rely too heavily on visual EQ curves. Step 7, use EQ stacking strategically. What does this mean? Well, don't be afraid to use multiple EQs in a chain. For instance, number 1, you have a corrective EQ, and you use this EQ for HPF and subtractive cuts. And the second component you might have in between them is a compressor that's inserted between, and then you might have an EQ after that compressor. So the second EQ, which you might use for enhancement. So you use this EQ for presence, air, or warmth and boost. Now, this mirrors analog workflows and keeps EQ moves purposeful and manageable, which is important. Now, here's some bonus tips for your home studio. Room acoustics matter. Poor acoustics can comb filtering and boominess, especially in untreated rooms. So your mic technique is important. A great recording needs less EQ. Use pop filters, proper mic distance, and clean gain staging. Avoid at all cost over EQing. If you're EQing heavily, something else like mic choice or performance or room may not be the root issue. Now, in summary, take a look at this chart. This is a vocal EQ cheat sheet. So you might want to take a moment to look at this. We have, again, a chart with 3 columns. First is the goal. The second is the frequency range. And the third is the EQ action. So the goals are if you want to remove rumble, reduce muddiness, add clarity, control sibilance, and add air, then check out the associated frequency ranges and EQ actions. And below that, we have a vocal EQ curve chart to help you out. So take your time and check this out. In summary, EQing vocals is part science and part art. Trust your ears. Keep changes intentional and reference often. Great vocal tones start with a good recording, and EQ is your final polish. Remember that. With practice, you'll not only get cleaner, more professional sounding vocals, you'll know exactly why they sound good. Well, that's a wrap. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and click the subscribe button on your screen now to join our group. We have new presentations coming out every 7 to 14 days, and leave a comment in the comment section about this content. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and TikTok. While you're here, check out some of the music, videos, and playlists because they're designed just for you. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.